Hi, this is Frederick from the techno label Detroit Berlin. This is the second episode where I'm going to share my game-changing gear. In this episode I'm going to talk about the EWI 4000S, an AKAI product, and it changed my workflow tremendously because it's quite an interesting instrument. It's an electronic wind instrument, therefore the short name EWI. It has a synthesizer built in. It's quite a heavy device, has some weights in there, so it really feels like an instrument. So it's inspired on a saxophone, on a flute. The way you play it, it has various fingerings you can implement on this device. And yeah, it's a stunning device. It's not always in use at the studio because in techno it's a little bit more difficult to implement most of the sounds. Now I'm working with a sound module, the Blofeld from Waldorf. I will show you a few sounds, and why I like this instrument this much is because it's extremely expressive. It's a wind controller. You blow into it, so instead of hitting a key and directly going full attack or full volume and then like the normal envelope you have, with this you can shape the sound just with your breathing. If you blow into it, if you blow harder, the volume will rise. If you configure it that way, the filter might open or the resonance may peak or anything you can think of. The synthesizer itself is also extremely expressive, but I like to play some modules with it. That way you can really expand upon the sounds that are in this machine, and you can really have no limits of the modulation you're doing with the synthesizer. You tweak the patches until they sound very nice, and then you have an extremely powerful tool to make music with. This is the EWI 4000S. It's the model I have. Now AKAI, since a few years, they have the 5000. It's more based on natural sounding instruments. I think that could be very interesting to send it through some effects through the modular and such, but I don't have that instrument. Maybe AKAI can send me one to test some things out if they're willing to. Also, there's another company, Roland, about 3 years ago I think. They came on the market with the Aerophone, and it's more focused towards the natural sounding instruments. Never tried that one. Would love to. So again, if Roland would send me some, be happy to test it all out. When I see the YouTube videos of the Roland Aerophone, they're very meant on reaching the audience that plays saxophone and not really the more experimental side of things. So if I can help out that way, I can make a few videos if you're up to that. A third company, I recently discovered them, and I think their instrument, it looks kind of special. The Roland one also, for many, the EWI is also a very weird looking device, but the company is called Audio, and they have the Silphio. The Silphio is kind of a flute-ish instrument. They have like a mechanism that when you twist it, the sound can change, and I think it's an analog or a virtual analog. I'm not sure, I have to recheck that one, but it seems a very interesting instrument, especially more focused towards more experimental music, where the Roland is more focused towards traditional music and for rehearsing at home and such. If you're a saxophone player, those are probably the better options if you're not really the saxophone player, but you just want a nice special device to make music with. The EWI 4000 is, yeah, great. It doesn't feel like a saxophone, it doesn't have the valves of a saxophone, it has no physical buttons, but rather it has these touch plates. So when you put your finger underneath it, you have the ground, and when you press a note, if you just touch it, you don't have to press it, just if you touch it, it makes a contact and it makes the note sound when you blow into it. It's very quick. It doesn't have any mechanics, so it's an extremely quick and sometimes glitchy, if you want to use it that way, system. So yeah, if you want to know some other special things about this instrument, I would say put your comments in the comment section down below. Always, you're free to give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to be notified when upcoming videos get published. So yeah, let's jump straight into the sounds of the Waldorf Blofeld, but controlled with the EWI 4000S as a very expressive wind controller. So I would say enjoy. When you bite the mouthpiece, it will add vibrato. When you push this up, it will pitch bend up. If you push it down, it will pitch shift down. These are the roll bars. It's meant to transpose an octave higher and an octave lower. You have 8 of these octaves to play. I routed the wind controller to open the filter and open the volume. If I blow into it, the volume will rise again and the filter will open. Also, the resonance will peak a little bit, so you have this really nice texture. You have a glide, so when you touch the roll bars and this ribbon, you make a contact and the synthesizer will add some glide, which is very nice. You can adjust the glide ratio, but you can do sweeps from all down below to very high in a very fluent and nice way. Also, worth mentioning, there's a very small hole where you blow through the instrument. With a little bit of breathing, you can really play for a long time. A saxophone, it has, yeah, a big hole, many holes, and you blow and you really need to take care again and again. And with this instrument, you can just play for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. If your lungs are very big, you can, yeah, almost play for 2 minutes, I think. Or if you do some circular breathing. The only thing, if you take in too much air, you won't be able to lose it all. So it's, yeah, a fine balance. You can also tongue the sound like you would a saxophone, like short thongings, and then you get kind of staccato. I think this is really a nice sound. I designed it this afternoon just for the video purpose. So yeah, bear with me. Gonna put the volume lower because if I blow hard, the resonance will peak and the filter will squeak, and this way you have a lot going on in kind of a simple patch. Also worth mentioning, if you use a synthesizer that's polyphonic, if you add some release, you can actually, if you play a note and you play another note afterwards, very shortly afterwards, then the release from the first will actually blend with the new note you're playing. So this way you can actually, yeah, do kind of chords. Also, yeah, it isn't monophonic anymore, in the sense that if you play half tone or a tone difference, yeah, then it sounds a little dissonant. I'll show this one. It's like the duophonic mode, where you play a note and you keep that note going and you play another note on top. And you can keep it as long as you're able to. When I breathe in, I need to breathe out when I stop playing, because I don't lose all breath while playing. Where a saxophone, yeah, you breathe in and you really have to take a new breath to be able to keep on playing. Any sounds you can think of, you can play with this instrument. Even drums. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, it's possible. Just listen how the expression behind those sounds, it's like you're making something in the DAW and doing all these kind of subtle automations. On a regular synthesizer you have the pitch bend wheel and a modulation wheel and some knobs, but you have two hands. One hand is playing a melody and the other hand, yeah, you can do one thing, maybe two things if they're close together. But with this, you're biting, this is one, you're breathing, this is two, you're playing a melody, this is three, you're pitch bending while you're playing the melody, this is four, you're applying glide, this is five, you're shifting the octaves, this is six, so you can do 6, 7 things at once and in a very subtle way. So this is the power of this instrument, and you don't have to be a saxophone player or a flute player to enjoy this instrument. If you want a very melodic lead, something that speaks for itself, something very human in a way, this is a really great tool, very inspiring. You can put the fingerings like a clarinet, like a saxophone, like a flute, like an EWI. It's kind of a different way to approach the instrument. But yeah, maybe that's the best option if you're not a saxophone player. I had some saxophone lessons, but long ago. But apart from that, I really think you don't have to be a saxophone player to enjoy this device. So I would say thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to be notified when upcoming episodes get published. I'm a little bit out of breath. You get a good workout from an instrument like the EWI, like the Aerophone, like the Silphio. I would say take a look at it. They're not that cheap to just buy it and try it out, but if you really like the way you can make music with it, I think it's certainly worth it. I had a lot of fun adding effects, processors, delays, reverbs, and distortion and stuff. You can also connect it via MIDI to a MIDI to CV converter, and that way you can really control a big modular system or a small one. This instrument, I think it's very inspiring. That's also why it's in one of my 6 game-changing gear episodes. The Moog Voyager, Mini Moog Voyager was the first one. It was the one I bought, the first that really changed my way of working. And yeah, the EWI, it followed a few years later. So yeah, it's not the order, what's the best, what's the worst. They're all good and they're all game-changing. I would say if you have some game-changing gear, put it in the comment section down below. And yeah, see you next episode and thanks for watching.